All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're putting on our consultant hats to give you a real-world guide to SAP Cloud for Customer, or C4C as you'll hear it called. We're going to walk through everything from the big-picture business value to the nitty-gritty technical stuff you need to know to make an implementation work. Look, let's be honest. Anyone who's been near a big software project knows they are absolutely monumental tasks. They're not just about new tech. They're supposed to be about transforming the business. But if they're not handled right, they can cause a whole lot of disruption instead.
So, before we can even talk about what success looks like, we have to get real about the potential for failure. We're going to start by looking the implementation challenge right in the eye and focus on 7 critical mistakes that teams make over and over again.
And here they are. These are the 7 big ones. You've got technical issues like messy data migration, and you've got people problems like underestimating just how hard change can be. These are the hurdles you've got to clear. Now keep these in mind because we're about to show you how a solid C4C strategy can help you dodge every single one.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We've just laid out the challenge. Next, we're going to dig into how C4C helps you unlock your data. Then we'll cover how it integrates with your other systems and how it empowers your people on the move. And finally, we'll circle all the way back to the keys for success that knock down those challenges we just talked about.
All right, first up, unlocking your data. Let's face it, a CRM is really only as good as the insights you can actually get out of it. And C4C has some really powerful analytics built right in that let you turn all that raw data into actual intelligence you can act on. Let's start with a question that every single sales manager has asked. You've got your forecasts, right? All those potential deals in the pipeline, but how do you know if they're actually becoming real revenue for the company?
And this right here, this is that classic problem visualized. Your team might be forecasting, say, 150 grand in opportunities. But when you look at the actual orders that came in, it's only 120 grand. That gap, that's where your strategy lives or dies. And the very first step is just being able to see it clearly. So how does C4C help you close this gap? Well, the process is actually surprisingly simple. You just hop into the built-in analytics, you select your data sources, in this case, your opportunities and your sales orders, you link them up with something they have in common, like the month. Then you build a chart, and you assign it out to your team. The key here is you're doing this without needing a data scientist to do a bunch of complex back-end work.
And boom, this is what you get. Just like that, you're not guessing anymore. This one chart gives you a super clear month-by-month view of your forecast versus what's actually happening. You can see instantly where you're crushing it and where you're falling behind, which means you can make smarter decisions fast.
Okay, next up, integration. A CRM can't be an island. It just can't. To be truly powerful, it has to connect and talk to all your other core systems, whether that's an on-premise SAP CRM or your big ERP system. And a lot of the magic behind that connection comes from something called an iFlow. The best way to think about them is like pre-packaged integration recipes that SAP gives you. They already define the data flow, the mapping, the routing, all the complicated stuff. It makes getting your cloud and on-premise systems talking to each other way, way simpler.
Now, this table brings up a really crucial point. Successful integration isn't just about the technology. It's about having the right people on the job. It's a team sport. You need specialists with really clear roles. From the CRM consultant who knows the backend, to the middleware developer who handles the data plumbing, to the cloud admin managing C4C itself.
And to keep a project this complex from going off the rails, you follow 4 clear phases. First, you connect and prep the systems. Then, you configure them to talk to each other. After that comes the really critical data load, both the initial dump and the ongoing updates. And finally, you just monitor everything to make sure the data is flowing smoothly.
Okay, so we've hit analytics and we've hit integration. Now let's switch gears and talk about the people who are actually using C4C every day, especially your sales and service teams who are always out in the field, always on the go.
So here's a peek at the C4C mobile app itself. It's clean, it's fast, but most importantly, it's built to work when you don't have an internet connection. See that little icon on the screen? That's the signal to the user that they're in offline mode. It means any changes they make are getting saved right to their device, ready to sync up later. But of course, not all phones are created equal. This table is a really practical look at how features stack up across different devices. So, while the really core stuff like offline mode is on every platform, you might get some nice extras, like better security and search integration on iOS. That's definitely something you want to think about when planning a rollout. So how does this all work so smoothly? Well, the magic really starts in the admin settings.
Your system administrator can set up these data download rules to control exactly what information a user gets offline, things like My Accounts or My Open Visits. This makes sure your team in the field has exactly what they need without bogging down their phone with a bunch of data they don't.
And that brings us full circle. We started by looking at all the things that can go wrong with an SAP project. So now let's wrap up with the keys to success, your blueprint for making sure your rollout is smooth and actually delivers value.
Remember those 7 mistakes from the beginning? Well, here are the 7 keys that fight them head on. It's all about thorough planning, a solid data strategy, and managing the change for your people. It's about making sure the system fits your business, testing everything, planning for what happens after you go live, and knowing when to call in the experts. This is your playbook for success.
And this really says it all, doesn't it? These projects are complex, there's no denying it, but they are not impossible. If you focus on the right strategies for your planning, for your people, and for your process, a C4C deployment that delivers real, long-term value is absolutely within your reach.
So, we've covered a ton of ground, from analytics to mobile, from the big challenges to the real solutions. The last question I'll leave you with is this. Your customer data is everywhere, scattered across different systems and devices. Are you ready to finally connect it all and turn it into your most powerful asset?